So lesson 72, page 486, multiple unit I can't talk today. Multiple unit multipliers. And the whole concept between a multiple unit multiplier is this. What do you get when you multiply that?
7.
You get 7. Okay, so the whole concept of a unit multiplier is not, you are going to change the shape of the number, but you're not changing the number. You're not literally changing the number. You're changing its shape, but you're not changing the number. Because if this was in feet, then what is 7 feet in inches? What's 7 times 12? 84. All right, so is 84 and 7, they're two different numbers, but when we're talking about their measurements, 84 inches and 7 feet, it's the same thing. Okay? That's what we're doing today. So we're just changing the shape. So if I wanted to change something simple like this, 855, oh, I wrote that 5 back, square feet into yards, I can do that. But notice it's square feet. It's not just feet, it's square feet. Okay, so there is something different that we have to do. So we're going to write 855 square feet over 1. I need a unit multiplier that's going to make this go in the yards. So is it 1 yard over 3 feet or 3 feet over 1 yard?
3 feet over 1 yard. No, 1 yard over 3 feet.
Why is it 1 yard over 3 feet?
Because you got to cross off the feet.
I got to cross off the feet. Okay? But notice it's square feet. That's feet times feet. So how many unit multipliers do I need to do? I need to do 2. So in essence, I have to do this twice. That's how I get.
Why did you do?
I didn't write 3. Now I did. That gets rid of my square feet here. So I have to do, in essence, 855 divided by 3 divided by 3, or 855 divided by 9 to get my answer.
Okay.
Okay? And my answer will be in square yards because I got 2 yards there. So I can immediately write down square yards so I don't forget to. But I got to do 855 divided by, say it again, 9. So 81, 45, so 95 square yards. That simple. Okay? Not too hard, but you got to remember what we're trying to do. Now, what if I talked about volume? 216 cubic feet.
So then you need to do 3?
I have to do 3 because that number's telling me 3. So I'll write it over 1. I want to change it to yards again. 1 yard over 3 feet.
1 yard over 3 feet.
Yeah, so I do it 3 times. That's a lot of times, I know. But what's 3 times 3 times 3?
8.
No,
Or
27. So I'm going to do 216 divided by 27. What do I get? I want to take a stab at it. But give me a guess. What number times 7 gives you a number that ends in 6? Okay, so try 8.
So it'd be 8.
It is 8. Okay, see how we just came up with a logical guess? Okay, so it's 8. I just proved it. So 8 cubic yards. Okay? Does that make sense? This being cubed, volume, meant we had to do this 3 times to change it in the yards. That's really important. When I ordered rock for my yard, for around my house, and I needed a certain amount, I had to take my measurements, but I also had to include the volume. How deep did I want my rock to go? Well, I wanted my rock to go 8 inches. So when I told the landscape company how much rock I wanted to deliver, I had to be careful about my measurements. Okay, because I had to make sure I included the length, the width, and how deep I wanted to go. And if I messed up my numbers, if I had done for instead of 8 inches and I did that wrong and did 8, I would have been ordering times 8 feet of rock down. You know how much rock that would be? It would be an insane amount of rock. That's not what I wanted. What it ended up needing was 3 cubic yards of rock, which was a lot when they dumped it in my driveway. If I had done it so I wanted 8 feet deep, I wouldn't be able to see my house. And I would have had to pay a ton of money for that rock. But they don't take that.
So what would you do with it?
I don't know. That's why
It's
that's why I quadruple checked what I
build a
ordered.
rock castle in your apartment.
But
Sell it on eBay.
the point is, that's a real life application of what we're doing. Because it might come a day that you need to do that. But you're going to see this in science, especially in physics, a lot, especially in the early days before you get to more complicated stuff in physics. Some of the simple stuff involves what we were just talking about. So, what if we needed to change something else? Okay? What if I told you that you wanted to set a record of, what if you want to set a record of running 440 yards in 1 minute? So your record that you want to set is 440 yards. It's about 1 1/3 football fields. No, yards. No, I said that wrong. It's about 4.5 football fields
1 minute.
in a minute. That's doable. It's doable. 4.5 football fields. Okay? Sounds far. It's a third of a quarter of a mile or so. Yeah, about a quarter of a mile.
So that's like 2 times around.
Okay, 2.5 times around the, no,
Like
1.5.
1.5 times around the parking lot in a minute. So there you go. So you can give interpretation. But we need to change this whole thing into our unit multiplier. But we're going to need several unit multipliers to do this. Okay, so first off, we need to know a whole bunch of measurement. We want to know, but what I want to know is what is her average miles per hour to do that? What's her run speed? So we got to know a lot of information. Well, how many yards are in a mile? Anybody?
5.
No, that's feet.
1,008. It's around there.
Thanks, Pat.
It's around 1,800.
1,760 yards in 1 mile. Or 1 mile to 1,760 yards, right? Because we're doing unit multipliers, it can go either way.
It's around.
Okay, we want to know her miles per hour, right? All right. So there is 1 hour and 60 minutes, right? That's a unit multiplier, or 60 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so we got both of those set up, both of those arranged. So now we got to convert it all to miles per hour. So how do we do that? Well, we'll start with the information we got. 440 yards in 1 minute. Times. We gotta do this twice. There's 2 things because I got one of these and one of these. Okay? I want to change this to miles per hour. So I need to cross off yards, right? So I will write 1 mile to 1,760 yards, right? Because that gets rid of my yard measurement. Now I need to get rid of that minute measurement. So I'm going to write
1 minute. 60 over 1. 60 seconds over 1.
60 minutes over 1 hour, right?
Wait, no, because isn't it seconds?
And then you can take out the
seconds.
That crosses off minutes. So I want to know her miles per hour,
But why did you put, oh,
or your miles per hour, okay? So I wrote 440 yards over 1 minute. That means I cross off minutes here and here, and that means I cross off,
guys,
Um,
440.
so that gives me miles to hour. Yards are gone already. So I need to do 440 times 60 divided by 1,760. So there's a lot that needs to go on there. 440 times 60 divided by 1,760.
Okay, so 44 times 60 is 26,400.
You said it's 26,400
Yeah.
divided by 1,760. Let's cross off those zeros so at least our numbers are a little bit smaller.
176 divided by.
No, don't say it wrong.
Oh, yeah, okay.
2,640 divided by 176. So that's gonna be once. Did you get it?
I don't know.
Well, what do you think you got?
I have,
gonna
well, I
come out-
multiplied first.
It's gonna come out even. We already multiplied. Now we gotta divide.
I didn't get that. I didn't.
What?
Don't worry about it. 880,
380.
380, 880 times.
No.
I'm dividing. How can you be confused?
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
You're not paying attention.
So it was multiplied. It's not.
Look, I got 880.
Yeah.
So I got 15. Now, let's step back before I write down the answer. Let's step back, because for some reason Beck's confused because he was doing it in his head.
No.
This is what I wrote out.
right here.
This is what I wrote out.
Wait, how did you get?
We did 440,
6.
440 times 60.
That equals
How did you get 2,000?
440 times 6. Add a 0 because it's 460. Because it's 60 minutes. I added the 0 at the end. Okay? Right? Here's my 0 that I added at the end. That's 2,000. So I did 440 times 6, or times 60, I get 26,400 divided by 1,760. I crossed off my zeros because I canceled a little bit, divided by 10 on both of those. That gave me 2,640 divided by 176. I did 2,640 divided by 176. I got 15 as my numerical answer. So that's 15. Only measurement on top I have left is miles. And the only measurement I have on bottom is hours. So it's 15 miles per hour. It's properly labeled. The labeling, when you set up your problem, allows you to set it up right. You were told 440 yards in 1 minute. So then I multiplied, and it doesn't matter which one I did first of these two. It didn't matter. So I multiplied by 1 mile over 1,760 yards. That allowed me to cancel out my yards, like I did.
I'm so confused why you multiplied it by 60 first.
I have to take care of the top before I take care of the bottom.
But you took 1,007, or yeah, 1,760.
That was the last thing I did. I multiplied, to do this, I had to multiply the whole top, divided, what's on the bottom? I have 1 times 1,100, 1 times 1,760 times 1. That doesn't change anything. But on the top, I have 440 times 60 times 1. That's why I did the top first, because I had to get those two combined. Divided by 1,760. Are you seeing it back?
Yes, sir.
Oh.